What challenges do food manufacturers face in sourcing ingredients? Can we order small pack sizes and quantities? How to be innovative and limit the R&D costs at the same time? Do we have competitive prices for ingredients? Are we covering demand, costs, and resolving supply issues? Listen to our food ingredients experts discuss the biggest questions facing buying food ingredients today. Welcome to Want to Taste Talks Food Ingredients.
Join me, Jasper Schouten, CEO of Want to Taste, on the 7th edition of Want to Taste Talks Food Ingredients as we discuss the latest trends in creating a winning prototype. Today we have an extraordinary lineup of guests joining us. Please welcome Peter Naylor of IMAG Organics, Shari of SVZ, Xavier Papasseit of ITS, Volker Zurowietz of Sweethouse, and Florence of Peel Pioneers. Welcome to another exciting episode of Want to Taste Talks Food Ingredients, the podcast that delves into the world of food ingredients. In today's episode, we'll immerse ourselves in the art of crafting a winning prototype, uncovering indispensable tips and tricks along the way. Our distinguished panel of 5 food ingredients experts will share their unique perspective, guiding you on a path towards food prototype success. Buckle up and get ready to navigate the ever-evolving landscape of food development as we explore the latest trends and groundbreaking innovation in the food ingredients industry. Hi, Peter. Great to have you in the podcast today. Shall we start with an introduction? Can you tell a bit about yourself and about IMAG Organics to know more?
Sure. So thanks first and foremost, Jasper, for the opportunity to talk today. I'm looking forward to talking a bit about bakery, a little bit about myself. I've been in the ingredients industry for 30 plus years. I started out as a brewer, actually a production brewer, then left that to join the ingredients world, selling into the food and beverage industry. I ended up for 15 years working at Wild Flavors. It was acquired by ADM in 2013, 2012. I ran the UK business for them, I ran the Middle East business for them, and I ran the India business for them over the course of those years. I was also a product manager for sweetening systems and branded myself as Sweet Pete. So I'm actually reasonably good at sugar reduction in general. A little bit about IMAG. I went self-employed in 2015, and IMAG is one of my clients that I represent them for the European business. We have a team of 3 or 4 people. We import through Antwerp, and we're ready to sell into the European market with our own direct sales, but also with Want to Taste.
Sounds great. It's an interesting product. So how do you feel? So we're discussing also specifically the bakery industry, but also how people develop their winning protocol and what are important aspects in that. Can you tell us a bit your opinion, and then not talking about your latest experience, but we hope to tap into your entire history as well, if we may.
Okay, so I think whenever you're putting a new product together, there are 3 key parameters. People may say more, but I think 3. There's taste, texture, and appearance. And appearance in that includes the packaging, but also what the product looks like. And the most important for repeat business is taste. It is the one thing that brings people back. If it's a lifestyle purchase or a treat, it has to taste good as well, and the taste and texture are pretty similar. And we got some products from IMAG Organics that can help with both of those. The appearance is what makes people buy something the first time. So the prototype needs to look good. The packaging needs to be right, and the proposition needs to be right. But it's the taste and the texture that brings them back. And the IMAG agave inulin and the IMAG agave syrup can both be used well in the baking sector, which we'll talk about shortly.
Yeah. So is that if you look at the appearance, I think your observations are spot on. I think if you crack those three, you have a great chance of having a successful product, right? But if I look at for example, the agave syrups, you have them in 5 different colors. Is that also why you decided to develop those?
It's quite an interesting question, Jasper, because we do offer 5 colors. Typically, we sell 2. And most of them most of the volume is actually the extra light because it gives additional flexibility in the end application, especially in beverage. You don't want to be adding color to the beverage, and agave syrup is typically used in as a retail product, like an alternative to honey, for at home use. But in a B2B environment, it's largely used in beverages where you don't want to bring a color or a taste impact. The darker the color, the more the taste. It has a Maillard sort of reaction that goes on where you've got the carbohydrate and the protein that naturally creates color. That's what we do when we cook onions. It goes down dark brown and gives that sort of flavor, caramelized flavor. So the darker the color of the agave, the more the caramelly-like notes. It has some application in bakery and some as such on the retail shelf when it's purchased as a squeezy bottle. For at-home use, people quite like the dark one. But the extra light is the one that gives most flexibility.
Yeah, so that's interesting because I was looking at more from a color perspective, and you were looking more from a functionality perspective, right? Saying in functionality, the lighter has more end application purpose than the darker one, and also in taste it impacts.
But I think the darker one in bakery brings some benefits. But on the whole, I think if I could split the volumes, it'd be 90% we sold would be extra light or light, and about 10% would be of the darker variant.
Okay, and an important point as well. We saw in earlier conversations that health is an important factor. So reduction of calories. That's an important factor. Now that's pretty difficult sometimes in the bakery industry because if you want to replace sugar, it's a bulking agent. How do you vision that? What is your opinion on that?
Thank you, Jasper. Yeah, sugar reduction is key. We're all taking more calories than we actually expend with more sedentary lifestyles. So we need to look at our sugar intake and carbohydrate intake. The agave syrup is well suited to baking because it's 1.3, some people say 1.4 times sweeter than sucrose, your typical beet sugar or cane sugar that is available. That means you can add less to get the similar sweetness delivery. And with it being a very similar calories per gram compared to sugar, the agave syrup is a mechanism by which you can reduce calories in your final product. However, if you reduce the sugar by 30%, say, you need to bulk it out again with something. And that's where the agave inulin comes in. And the agave inulin brings not just bulking, it brings a real functionality to a baked good. It has a fiber claim if you're adding enough to have a claim of additional fiber, or includes fiber. It is a prebiotic fiber. This is a prebiotic characteristic fiber. It also brings taste, texture in some baked products, a spongier cake, and in biscuits, a crisper bite. So we are really quite interested in using a combination of the syrup and the inulin in bakery formulations. We've done some application work ourselves in the kitchens over in Mexico, where we have some recipes we can sort of share with your customers that can really give them some guidance on how to implement the ingredients into their own end-use market product.
So it seems that the products of IMAG can contribute actually to the 3 points that you were mentioning. So it can contribute to taste, it can contribute to texture if you want to reduce the sugar content, and to appearance by choosing the right color for the right reason. It can help in appearance as well.
It can. There's one other thing that the inulin can do. It cannot replace all the fat, but it can be used to take some of the fat down if that is also of a significant interest to the brand owner. I think it should be, because consumers are looking at their total calories, not just sugar.
And I never figured that, but if you talk about fat reduction, can you put a percentage on that, or is it in specific applications that you see that?
I think we can get about 20 to 30% fat reduction using inulin. I would not like to say whether that's sugar and fat at the same time, or one is just fat. So I think the way that anything is that we can recommend some recipes, but always the application people at the brand owner, they would be the ones responsible for what's going onto the shelf. So they'd have to do their own kitchen work and trials and what have you. Hence the prototyping you talk about at the beginning, and we would encourage that to occur, because that's their responsibility. They're the best people who know their product formulation, and we would always try and support them technically to overcome any hurdles that they might find.
I am sure that this conversation will spark some interest in your products. I'm fascinated by it, and seeing the multiple ways that the product can help product developers, but can also help improve healthy products. Is just tremendous. If I picture that back to what we see in on the One to Taste platform, and when we interact with our customers, we see that if you look at launching new products specifically, where we started off with, we see that they typically start pitching 2 items in the market, and then like an A/B testing, see, okay, which one is the most successful one. Obviously, that requires the flexibility in volume, and I believe that you guys are very much capable in supporting these companies in their smaller quantity up to the larger volume, obviously.
And I think, just to summarize quickly, IMAG is available in Europe. We import through Antwerp. We have smaller packs available for trial purposes. So or even best to come to One to Taste and get the samples from there.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll be working on growing that. Peter, thank you very much for your time. It's been a great pleasure talking with you, and I'm sure we'll be in frequent contact.
Jasper, thanks for the opportunity once again, and we'll be in touch. And if there are customers that you have that need some technical support, then we'll be there for them.
Hello, Shari.
Good day. Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. Hope you are too.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for joining us today in our podcast, One to Taste Talks Food Ingredients. Would it be possible to tell our listeners a little bit more about yourself and about SVZ, the company that you work with?
Of course. So let me start by saying hello. I'm Shari de Wit, working and living in Breda, the Netherlands, where I work for SVZ, also based headquarters in Breda. What we do, we are manufacturer of fruit and vegetable ingredients. There you can think of purees, juices, and concentrates for the food and beverage industry around the globe. We have factories, a few in Europe, in Spain, and in Belgium near the border of the Netherlands, and in Poland. And then, of course, we also have our factory in the US. So an international player, let's say.
A real international company. Well, thanks again for joining us today. We're going to talk a little bit about launching new products, and then specifically, how do you determine which prototype you're going to bring to market. Are you guys familiar with the process, and how do you actually work with that?
We are familiar with the process. we have our own R&D team as well, and we really like to level up our co-collaboration with the customers in creating something new, or at least something to help them for the perfect application within their new product development.
And what do you think? For example, we're more zooming in on, say, dairy products, but potentially also for other end users. What are deciding factors that you recognize and where you have to anticipate with?
Well, it's first of all, it's good to realize that we see that there are different approaches to determine the prototype. Which first can be, is it proactively? In this case, then it comes from us as a ingredient supplier. Or it can be that the customer already has a product briefing, which can be quite specific, or a blue sky, so really open to any suggestions from our side or our expertise. In the case of that the customer already has the product briefing, we see that the deciding factors can be, for instance, on the taste. Should be really natural, especially because our product is also really plant-based and natural. The texture, do they want it with seeds, without seeds? Does it require a smooth texture, or really the authentic one, where they have even pieces within this texture? And the colors, of course, do they want a natural color? Should it be clear coloring? Should it be cloudy? So there are many factors to decide upon. But you can imagine this really depends on the specific application. Whereas if they create a healthy yogurt, it will be very different from when they are creating an indulging ice cream. So yeah, it's really important to therefore to keep the conversation with the customer to really learn what they are searching for.
Okay, so what you're saying is that when you work closely with a customer, that they that you need to understand first of all their process, and after that you can anticipate, as SVZ, in how you serve them. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, and when you would be sitting, I'm just challenging you now. When you would be sitting on the side of the customer, what would be your way that you would say that you could, with the shortest route, develop a new product, and decide upon the results of the launch, or of the initial testing with customers? How would you approach that yourself?
As a customer, I would really like to have a peace of mind, and will be able to rely on the expertise of the partner in this case, for the development. So in this case, then the supplier, to really be able to trust on their knowledge and their know-how about the specific ingredients. As I can imagine, for as a customer, you have your own expertise, but it's impossible to know all ingredients, to have the know-how top of mind. So I would really like to be able to have that peace of mind if I would be the customer. Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be a key takeaway, is when you go out and select your suppliers, that you look for those suppliers that not only can deliver the product, but can also deliver the expertise that comes with the products, for you to be successful.
Yes, that they will be able to advise how to best apply the specific ingredient, or what would be the inclusion rate, for example, because they trust that they have the expertise already, or the experience already. Yeah. Yes.
So pretty exciting. I mean, for companies that are launching new products, obviously You cannot make too many mistakes in that because else it becomes super expensive. So um, if you would come back and say, okay, in taking your experience as well, is what were the deciding factors with customers, and you don't need to name any customer, of course, but that made their product launch successful? What? Yeah.
Deciding factors that
Sorry, I'm challenging you a little bit
yeah,
here.
not a problem. Always good to be challenged. There was definitely the quality of the food, so that also challenged our full supply chain. So we need to make sure that from the very first we touch the fruit that before it goes to supply chain, that it's being selected for the very best quality, to keep the natural source within the product. So that's what also really can make the difference, we believe. And also which has been proven by successes that we've made with the product introductions. Also, the mouthfeel is very important, and this is also the knowledge of our process. When you have the best fruits, to what are you doing in process within the factory and process to keep, even when processing it, to keep this natural source as good and recognizable as possible. So that was really a very important deciding factor for our previous experiences.
Okay, so actually, the quality. If you have good quality, you increase the chances of being successful in the market.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, but
yeah, that
also
makes.
there's also a difference, of course. There are customers who want the Rolls Royce, and that you are able to create the Rolls Royce for them. But some are not looking for that, because you also have to pay for it, obviously. So then that's also keeping the conversation with the customer. Then you will recognize, oh, he's not looking for that. We can tone it down a notch, and then we can also be able to create what is good enough for them, and
Yeah,
stay in within the range of their budget. So that's also something that plays a part.
yeah,
Even though, as a supplier, you
yeah,
always want to go for the very best of the Rolls Royces
yeah. Of course, you're
of
proud of
course.
your product, right?
Yeah.
I think it's also to do with that. It's not only to do with cost, but it's also that you're proud of your product and you want to bring the best to your customer.
Yeah, and
So
that's the strength of listening to what they are looking for. That's really the key.
okay, so basically, you're saying maybe listening is the key of launching the most successful product.
Yes, yeah. If I must, yeah, if there's one thing to say that would be the key to success within the development, it is really to keep the open conversation, really listen to what the customer is looking for, and make sure that you're involved in the early stage of the development. So the earlier within you are involved in development, the better the results will get.
Yeah. Okay, Shari. I think this is a good sentence to wrap up our conversation. If I reflect on what we see in One to Taste, is that we do see obviously that brand is important and the quality is important. We also see that, and that's more from a distance, is that from sample to final launch, it for us the average peak is in about 122 days. Pretty accurate, but it's obviously it's a bandwidth, right? If a process takes longer, chances of being successful are lower.
Yeah.
So I think it's also to do with focus from the company when they want to launch something, that they're fully focused on that as well. But it's overall, I think you're right. It's all about listening and working together to make a successful product.
Yes.
So I want to thank you, Shari,
No problem.
for the time today. And for sure, we will be in touch soon. Wish you all the best.
Thank you. I enjoyed being part of this conversation, and hope listeners will find us if they're looking for the best partner in development with the ingredients of fruits and vegetables.
Hi, Xavier. Welcome to the Want to Taste podcast. Thank you very much for attending this podcast. I think it would be great if you could tell the audience a little bit about who Xavier is.
Thank you, Jasper. I really appreciate this opportunity that we have this conversation today. Very, very briefly, I'm Xavier. I'm educated as a chemical engineer. Long time ago, I've been working in the food ingredient business for about 25 years now. In different fields, I started working for a distribution company with many commodities and specialty ingredients, from very bizarre things like enzymes to bring together meat pieces or fibers to fill processed foods, processed meats. So that gave me the chance to learn a lot about the real insides of the food and beverage industry. Different applications, different type of customers. That experience was in the Iberian market. Then I moved into the old national starch, the currently ingredient. There was also great experience working in the Iberian and Greece for also different applications, but basically dairy, bakery, savory as well, dressings and sauces. We were promoting specialty starches for the texture, but also for the health benefits, bringing high fiber and low sugar in bakery, for instance. And in the last 12 years, I've been focusing on flavors. The beginning, it was savory for meat, dressing, sauces, ready meals. And in the last 6 years, I've been working for ITS, my current company. I am the export manager covering mainly continental Europe. And our main territory is sweet natural flavorings. So that's me. Before I go into ITS, if you want me to.
No, so it sounds like you have a lot of experience, and that's always welcome when you are a commercial person. It's always good to have that knowledge in your in the back of you, supporting your conversations, obviously, with the customers. In our talk today, we are zooming in actually together with you on the prototyping. Customers, they want to bring a new product to the market. They are starting with prototyping, and I would like to listen to you and hear from you. Okay, what are determining factors in the prototyping?
Yeah, well, we all know in this sector, in the food and beverage manufacturing, that projects may take normally quite long. From the moment that someone comes with an idea until the moment that the product is actually on the shelves and the consumers are starting to buy it. So that specific step of prototyping is so crucial to overcome the possible issues that the product will find in the future. That I think that we never pay enough attention to that. I feel the flavor supplier is a part of this long chain, and of course, any possible issue in this long chain can bring them bad consequences. Our customers normally they come with an idea, they have the idea of bringing something which is new, which is different, or which is similar to something in the market, but with a slight, with some advantage. Well, we try to support that by providing a market understanding. So we follow through the regular platforms, through our own knowledge, what's going on in the market, what we think the consumers are expecting, they are accepting. In terms of not only taste, we're providing taste, but of course, taste is only a part of it. We need to make sure that the appearance, the texture, the color, everything is important. And of course, in terms of taste, we try to guide, we try to propose which tastes are the most demanded at the moment by the market. So
what sources do you actually use when you say you say taste, texture, color? Those are important factors. But what knowledge do you bring that your customers really love?
Yeah, we are. That's a good question. Actually, we think that our customers. We aim as a company. We aim to the small and medium companies, and we thought when the company was founded, our founder Mike Bagshaw thought that those companies, normally family-owned companies, deserved the kind of service that the big companies can pay on their own by subscribing to market knowledge platforms like Innova Database, some others. So we use this kind of platforms. Of course, we use our own observation, our own experience. But I mean, in order to bring facts and figures to the table, we can provide this kind of information. What's working in the last 6 months in a specific market, in a specific application. And then we can offer that to our customers. Say, hey, you're thinking about strawberry. Well, strawberry is a good idea, but probably raspberry is a bit better because those are the facts in the last 6 months. This is the kind of...
Okay. That sounds very clever. I think that that also resonates a little bit with what we try to do with Want to Taste as well. We try to be there for the small and medium-sized enterprises. And I think that if you look at the prototyping, if I can conclude your message, is that it's about color, it's about texture, it's about taste, but it's also about market knowledge. And understanding what are the new trends that are driving the market.
Absolutely.
I think, and you're using different kind of platforms. Innova, you were mentioning, I think, and others that can help you, and that you can then again use for the benefit of the small and medium-sized enterprises. That sounds very, very good, Xavier. Do you also see, and then we're wrapping things up, do you also see that the customer is never betting on one horse, but is always betting on 2 or maybe 3, because that's something that we experience?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think that's a wise decision, actually, trying to develop different options in parallel, 2, 3, or maybe not more, because that drains a lot of resources in a small and medium company. But I think it's good always to have a few alternatives on the table. That brings me to the next thing that our customer, I Want to Taste customer, needs flexibility, needs speed of reaction, needs very close support in terms of developing the prototype. So this is one of the things that we offer as well to our customers is our own development facilities. So we have a test bakery, we have a UHT line, we have the possibility to make from cereal bars to canned beverage, and then I think that's one of the advantages that our customers, again, small and medium companies, they really appreciate most. They can come in-house, they can work for 1 or 2 days together with us. We have a wide portfolio of flavors, but also we can create on purpose, depending on the trials and the iteration of trials that we can propose them.
And what I see is that ITS is very responsive in the market. I see you're also doing quite good insights in your posts. But we have to come to an end. I thank you so much, Xavier, for helping us giving insights on the prototyping and what is the perspective that ITS brings to the table in this respect. Thank you so much, and we'll be in touch soon, I'm sure. And we hope to invite you in the future for more.
You're very welcome, Jasper, and thank you again. Thank you so much for this chance.
Hi, Volker. Thanks for being in our podcast, Want to Taste Talks Food Ingredients today. Maybe good to give you a very quick introduction of yourself and of Sweethouse, the company, your company.
Yeah, Jesper, hello. Nice to see you. And hello, I'm Volker. By education, I'm a beverage technologist. Studied this long years ago, ended in '84, and then started in the industry, first with wild flavors. After this, I worked for Sunrise and for Cargill, Celanese, all in leading positions. And since 2017, I have my own company, together with a partner, with Jochen Bonczyk, who might know Jochen. And so we are busy in this field of sugar replacement and in initiatives of sugar reduction in many food areas. The majority is right now beverages. So alcoholic beverages, but as well non-alcoholic beverages, mainly non-alcoholic, I need to say, because we have the situation that in alcoholic beverages, in spirits and liquors, sweeteners are not allowed to use, but in mixed drinks, these are, or B-mix drinks, shandies, this is a classical application where we can bring the full strength of our products to the market.
Okay. And Volker, because you already touched a little bit on the alcohol and non-alcohol, so we're going to dive a little bit into what you believe is important in a winning prototype when you bring it to the market. Obviously, there is in this podcast series there's a focus on the alcoholic beverages, but please feel free to also extend that a little bit. What is, in your opinion, leading when you bring products to the market and taking your full 25 years extensive experience with you?
Yeah, the key in winning prototypes is the right balance. Just now focusing on beverages, if it's mixed drinks or non-alcoholic, doesn't matter. It's basically the balance between the acidity, between the sweetness and the flavors, and also some side notes which you might need to cover, or to finally have a harmonized recipe, harmonized formulation, which hopefully tackles the taste of all consumers, which is a bit challenge, but also it's important when a brief comes in, when a project starts, that also the target group is well described, that the formulator can already focus on potentially flavors for ladies. There are some differences, and by experience I can say this is also most important to develop the products target to the target group, basically targeted to the target.
So you're saying that when you develop it, so it's obviously it's about the acidity, it's about the sweetness, it's about the roundness, but also keep in mind who is your target audience, right? So, for example, if it would be women, middle-aged, or youngsters on secondary school, so that's something that is important.
Absolutely. And we are busy in the field of sugar replacement, and the evolution has built our senses to like sugar. Everybody knows this, and therefore this sweetness impact. Talking right now about basically all products, the sweetness is a key element because the sweetness is also influencing a big time the flavor perception. And therefore, it's very important to design a well-balanced sweetness in the product, and then bringing this together with the right acidity level, with the right acids, if it's from fruit juice or added acids, and also some ingredients which can moderate the taste into the direction of sugar sweetness.
Yeah. And when you bring a product to the market, and you finish the design of the recipe, what are things that you look at before you say, okay, now we're going to give it to the sensory panels, or we're going to do consumer testing? What is it what you do in the last test before you send it out? What are things that you typically pay attention to?
Yeah, of course. When we are developing a product, first of all, we have internal taste panels which are supporting us here, because as a product developer, you have your own opinion, and it's extremely important to incorporate multiple opinions about taste, about the performance of a product. But we have trained people doing this, and after this, it makes sense to involve also consumers, which doesn't have a technical background, which just are consumers, and they are the most important people we have, because later they should like the product, and this is crucial to screen it. It doesn't need to be a super big consumer amount, but also to involve some people which are independent. It's extremely helpful to design the right recipe.
Okay, well, Volker, if I may summarize it, you say, okay, it's about the combination, obviously, of the different ingredients. It's about making your target audience or incorporating the target audience when you make the design of the winning prototype. But it's also, before going to market, have your internal taste panels, or maybe potentially external taste panels, to evaluate together, because you as a developer is only one opinion and might not be the fitting per se with the target audience. If you could say one last comment, what would that be before we close this conversation?
Yeah, so important for me would also be to mention that our products, the sweetness compounds which we are producing, they have basically all tools incorporated in one solution to provide well sugar tasting products. Even in some applications, we did triangle tests where consumers could not differentiate between the full sugar sweetened product and the sugar replacement product. And in specific for alcoholic drinks, our products are working very well in beer mix drinks, because there you have also from the malt source, you have some maltose, some sugars. So there is a balance in, and when we are providing our sweetening compounds on top, this is really tasting like sugar. And nice technical advantage is you prevent post-fermentation, because when you are adding in a shandy or in a beer mix drinks, when you are adding sugar, then there is a risk that the yeasts are getting some food again. They are developing well, and then you might have potential possibility with the post fermentation, and can be very difficult and dangerous. And with our products, we are helping that this will not happen.
Cool. Sounds like everybody should try it, right? I want. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Volker. I really appreciate you sharing your knowledge. We've known each other actually for quite a long time, and I can always get some new insights and some useful information from you. Thank you very much for also sharing that today with us. And obviously, we'll be in touch and look forward to speak with you soon again. Hi, Florence. Welcome to the Want to Taste Talks Food Ingredients webinar. Today, we are specifically talking about sustainability. And obviously, you and the Peel Pioneers cannot miss this event because you have that as a great motto in your company.
But yes, thank you for having me.
Great as well. Can you, for the listeners, because maybe not everybody, I think Peel Pioneers is already quite famous, but maybe you can tell a little bit about the company and about yourself?
Yes, of course. Hi, I am Florence. I'm the food application specialist of Peel Pioneers. I'm working here now for 1.5 years. And my main focus is mostly on the ingredient, the fiber, the Phoenix fiber, because of its nutritional value and its functionality. And about Peel Pioneers, we are a company based in the Netherlands, in Den Bosch, and we are collecting orange peels. So from all the supermarkets and the retail, we are collecting the peels from the juicing machines that are coming free while juicing, so the consumer gets their juice and we get the peels, and we are making from the peels all kinds of ingredients. For example, the cold pressed oil, the D-limonene. We are cutting the peel also in little pieces and sugar them for the bakery industry. And last but not least, the fiber. So that's a nutritional fiber that we are making now.
So you're taking the waste streams, in fact, and you're upgrading that to high value ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at your product and you look at the market, do you see that the market is specifically interested in sustainable ingredients?
Yes, we see that shift now really happening because everybody wants to have like a sustainable impact on the nature world, and everybody is really willing to reduce their carbon footprint, for example, and really sustainable products, especially waste stream products.
So that is for you a big driver in the success of Peel Pioneers.
Yes.
Hey, and if you look at your customers, when they start working with your product, what is it that they find important when testing your products?
Yeah, they first say like, "Oh, amazing what Peel Pioneers does. We love the company, the concept of the company, and therefore also the ingredients." So they are mostly interested in, for example, cold pressed oil because it's very fragrant. It gives a really nice round orangey flavor to, for example, muffins, or you can put it in perfumes, but also our fiber because it's widely applicable in every kind of application. So we're now really focusing on the food market, and we see that, for example, our fiber, we had an original fiber, which had a lot of orangey taste and was a little bit of orange, and we thought, okay, this is our orange fiber, original orange fiber. We want to put it on the market, but we got feedback that, okay, that this is very niche market to be used because, in a hamburger, for example, you don't want an orangey flavor. So that's why we went to a more neutral fiber without taste or color, and now it's more widely applicable in every segment of the food industry.
Is there, and when people start engaging with peel pioneers. What you also mentioned yourself, I can see that enthusiasm, and we are a big fan of peel pioneers ourselves. But is there sometimes a perspective that, because it's a waste stream, the quality must be inferior? Is that something that you sometimes experience?
No, not really. But because citrus fiber is already on the market, so they are already thinking like, okay, this is a standard that it needs to, how it needs to behave. But we are sometimes even exceeding that standard. So they're really happy about seeing the functionality and how it behaves in different products. For example, in mayonnaise, it can really enhance the creamy flavor. Or it can enhance the shelf life of bakery products, for example, muffins, that it's less dry after a few days.
And then you're talking specifically about the fibers, right? These are they water soluble fibers or?
Yeah, partly. Yeah. Okay. Water and oil soluble. Yeah.
So that's why they are effective in the muffins, because they take the moisture.
Yeah.
They absorb the moisture in that sense. Okay, great. And a little bit more about your interactions with your customers and your products. So what makes it that your ingredients are selected as in the winning prototype, or what do you advise your customers when testing your products or using your products?
So we are doing very proactively work, like testing all kinds of different food applications. So we can go to customers and give them like ideas, like, okay, we have tested this and this. Maybe you can also use it in these kind of products, for example, sugar replacement, fat replacement, because you want a similar mouthfeel or similar texture. And you also wanted to have a better nutritional value with fiber and the similar mouthfeel. So we're really testing on every aspect and going to a customer and they are saying, for example, we are interested in binding capacity in, for example, plant-based hamburgers. And I can also say, it also gives more juiciness when you apply the citrus fiber in your plant-based hamburger. And we are giving lots of ideas, and we're also testing together with the customer to see, okay, how does it work in your recipe?
So it's a lot about the interaction with the customers. And do you share then recipes, or
yes?
How does that work?
Yeah, we mostly make ourselves like a recipe from the internet that we find in articles or just homemade recipes. And we are testing with that. And then we are sharing the results that we have and give the customer ideas. And then we are testing together, maybe it doesn't work how you want it to work. And then I'm like the troubleshooter, like, okay, have you thought about this? How did you dissolve it, for example?
Wow. So you're giving the full support that a customer needs in order to use your products with success. And when they use it, do you provide them with a carbon reduction overview, or is there something that you still tell them when this is you save so many waste by using this product?
Yeah, we have done a study because mostly before it's going to peel pioneers, the peels were incinerated, so there's a lot of carbon going into the world, and now we are just replacing them, or we're making fiber out of it and oil, so we're taking ingredients out of it. So the carbon footprint goes a little bit down. So we say, you save a lot of carbon because you don't incinerate it, you reuse it again, it's a waste stream, and then put it back on the shelf in the supermarket, for example. And it goes another round in the food system.
Yeah, exactly. We already come to an end, Florence. I briefed you before that it's pretty short, but it's inspiring to see what Peel Pioneers is doing and what you are doing with your customers. And obviously, One to Taste is very supportive on everything to do with sustainability and natural and organic ingredients. So great what you guys are doing, and I want to thank you for your time and efforts today and participation in the webinar. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for having us.
We appreciate your presence on this episode about creating a winning prototype. Our 5 food ingredients experts have provided invaluable insights into the latest trends in creating a winning food prototype. We extend our sincere gratitude to our expert guests and invite you to join us for our next episode as we continue to delve into the world of food ingredients. This was Want to Taste Talks Food Ingredients. If you want to know more, please check out our website.